Jonathan Pogash is the cocktail guru, a mixologist and hospitality expert.
See? You know big words. Dude, I'm the cocktail guru. Cheers.
Jeffrey's his dad, a wine and spirits author, historian, and consultant.
Oh, I do my homework.
With decades of experience, they're always looking for the next big thing. Join this father and son duo for a few laughs as they explore the hottest trends in hospitality with the service industry's leading trailblazers and tastemakers. Welcome to the Cocktail Guru Podcast.
You know, John.
Yes.
We're still on Hollywood and Vine.
Yes, we are.
How long have we? We've been here for hours on end, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think we should get an apartment right here. Yes, on Hollywood and Vine. That way
you're
we can.
paying for it?
I'll
It'll
pay
be
part
our
of it anyway.
headquarters
We can keep
part of
coming
it.
back.
Who's going to pay for the rest of it?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you'll pay for part of it.
It's not in the
Our
budget.
production company might be able to pay for part of it.
Yeah,
Yes,
that would
or-
be nice. They'll pay for it.
Yes, but we've been spending so much time here, and we love it here, and we want to come back.
We do,
So I
yes.
think we need an apartment.
I will. I will come back next week.
Yeah, I
to
know.
do something
Right.
that I can't talk about. But we have an amazing roster of guests that have been coming to Lost Property Bar here to be interviewed by us.
Yes.
And we're so thankful, and it's really amazing. And what we love to do is we love to share the experiences of all of these guests because they're all very unique and very talented in their own way. And we have a guest that I've known for many years, and I see her a lot in the industry, and she's a powerhouse. Started in New York and LA now, has been for many, many years, and we're so excited to bring her on. Welcome, Yael Van Graaf, to the podcast.
Welcome, Yael.
You can have
Welcome.
my old apartment. It's like right
Oh,
down
thank
the
you.
street.
It's
Yeah.
nearby? Great.
Yeah, just moved. There's definitely an empty bedroom in there still. So.
Excellent.
I hate
We'll take
moving.
So do I. It was terrible.
Oh,
It was
gross.
pretty terrible.
We lived, when I lived in New York, we moved like 6 times in 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
But that's just what you do.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. I didn't realize that wasn't what you do until I moved here.
It's not what you do here?
No,
People just stay.
they stay.
Oh.
But you had like kind of the New York attitude and you were like, well,
No,
I kinda
no,
wanna-
I stayed. I
Okay.
stayed. Well, that's not true. I got here. I hated it here. I moved to San Francisco about 8 months later, but then I moved back and then I stayed. And then it's been like a 5-year cycle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Staying in one place for 5 years and then moving.
And did you and you grew up in Texas?
I'm from Texas, yeah.
All right. And what was your experience there? Did you start in working in bars and restaurants, hospitality, or what?
No, I did not. I moved to New York when I was 17 to go to school, and then needed to pay my rent. And I didn't really. I was a dancer at the time, so I was pursuing like a creative goal while still being in school, and I needed to make money right away. I didn't really know how to do anything else, so started as a cocktail waitress and found hospitality that way.
And you went to school for dance?
I did not actually.
Oh, okay.
I specifically didn't want to go to school for dance, but I chose moving to New York and going to NYU because I was going to be surrounded by the arts at all times, but I didn't want to study dance academically. So no, I studied like philosophy and French dramatic literature and yeah.
You just piqued his interest.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then like halfway through, I like learned how to DJ and decided to transition into this interdisciplinary school. I mean, my poor parents, like, I have never really truly known what the heck I want to do.
Well, I did the same thing to my parents. And
Okay,
you see, I
good.
always have something in common with our guests.
Yeah.
Jonathan,
Thankfully.
even more than you do.
Yes.
And
All
in
right.
this case, I was a philosophy, anthropology double major, and a music minor. So it drove my parents crazy.
But you also
Yeah.
studied.
What were we thinking?
You also studied in France.
And I studied
French.
in France and learned French. of
Amazing.
course. Yes.
Amazing. So yeah, I do. I mean, of course, like my experience in school informed many aspects of my personality and who I am today. And obviously wouldn't have gotten my start in hospitality in the like magical way that I did if I didn't go to school
Yeah.
there. But, can't really say I used my major per se, or anything like that. But
And what was when you moved to New York, was there a spot that you started working in where you were like, all right, things are being taken seriously, and I think, there's something here for me?
I mean, I'm older, so
No, you're not as
I
not as old
got
as
my
we are.
start like way earlier than things were exploding, or they were about to explode. So, I mean, no, like it was just this very, very romantic notion that I got from service and hospitality from like the neighborhood sports bar I was working at. And yeah, it was on A and 13th. It's called Common Ground. It's still there. It was like kind of like more upscale neighborhood sports bar. And I like worked Wednesday night trivia night and a Friday night happy hour, and you know, lived down the street, you know, in NYU housing, and that was that. And like there was almost all females behind the bar, and I immediately was like, I want to do that. But they were making like key lime pie martinis and you know, orange creamsicle martini.
Yeah.
My drink that I was not of age at the time, but the drink that I recommended to folks was, I'd be like, oh my gosh, you have to try the Yael special, a Stoli Vanilla Diet Coke, you know, and that was me. That was like, you know, I thought I was brilliant. I was like, wow, I'm so good at mixing drinks. Anyways, that was the old days, and I was there for about 1.5 years, and then was just like, yeah, smitten and wanted to see what else was out there, and did the fine dining thing and did the, you know, bottle service gal in the club thing and dive bar. I mean, every type of bar, wine bar, you name it. I decided that I like wanted to explore.
Yeah. You know, I forgot you talking about the cocktails just now reminded me that we always at the beginning, normally we ask our guest this one question. What is your desert island cocktail? So like you're stranded.
I have like a new desert island cocktail actually, and it's absinthe and sparkling coconut water.
Ooh.
And it's absolutely delicious. I just came out with a sparkling coconut water that I meant to bring for you guys today, and then I sold it all this weekend, so I don't have any. But yeah, I've always been like an absinthe and coconut water gal, but now that we have a sparkling one,
Whoa, absinthe and sparkling.
And what is it called?
I don't know.
Your coconut water.
It's called Strange Water.
Strange water.
Yeah, we have a still one and a sparkling one. It's in a can. We like literally just launched this thing. I'm super excited about it.
Congratulations.
But I've been saying that my thank you. I've been saying my desert island drink is absinthe and coconut water for many years now. But now I'm like, oh no, you know what? It's actually absinthe and sparkling coconut water.
That sounds interesting.
I want to get fucked up on the desert.
No, that's great. Yeah, of course, you want to get fucked up.
And I want something refreshing.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to drink anything with citrus.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's kind of, you know, like I guess like absinthe frappe adjacent.
And okay, so now going back to the New York scene, was there a craft cocktail bar that you were working at in New York, or did you start that when you came to LA?
Yeah, no, I mean I was actually, by now I was of age, and I started dating a bartender who was very, very like already prolific within like mixology, and he taught me so much about like craft cocktails and classic cocktails. And so I was just like voraciously reading everything, and like, you know, I think I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that nightlife was interesting to me, like from when I was 15 years old, probably because I was a dancer. So like the idea of entertainment and nightlife was always like top of mind for me. And I was always reading about like new clubs and dance parties and all these things from like a very young age. So the drink piece of like nightlife and entertainment was never really top of mind for me. It was not about the drinks. It was about the space and the people and the vibe and the lights and the music and the entertainment. But now, of course, being able to drink nicely in those settings is always cool. And so, yeah, I like came up right at the time as all of these like speakeasy bars started coming up. I was about to, by now I was like interning in music studios because I like thought I was going to be a DJ now. That was my new thing. And was kind of about to give up. I worked like, you know, I was trying all the clubs and the fine dining, and I wasn't really resonating with anything. What's it called? Basically, yeah, I was about to give up, and then I saw an ad on Craigslist for a program that was being started by Eben Freeman. And I recognized that name because I was dating this bartender who had, you know, spoken very highly of Eben. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go on this job interview. And it was for a restaurant called Taylor, which is no longer there anymore. And Sam Mason was the chef, and Evan was running the cocktail program. And it was this like absolute rock star cast of bartenders. And it was very much like right place, right time. And I was a cocktail waitress. I think I was just like newly 21. And it was like Alex Day and Adam Del Giudice and Tim Cooper and Troy Arcand. And this is like literal rock star lineup of people behind this bar. And I just like devoured every piece of knowledge and information that I could get from these guys. And I would like copy down all their notebooks and then like go home and copy it down in my own notebooks. Like actually, because I just moved recently, I found all my old notebooks.
Oh, really?
And it's like, it's all my like old philosophy notebooks and texts. And then in the margins is me like writing cocktail recipes down, like clearly not clearly not paying attention to like what's happening in the class, but definitely like getting my cocktail recipes down. And all I wanted was to be a bartender. That was like all I wanted. And then eventually Evan let me start bartending. This place was just down the street from Pegu Club. Audrey came in one day, saw me, and invited me to come work at Pegu. And then from there went on to run Painkiller and was at Maison Premiere before I left to come to LA.
Right.
So that was kind of how I found myself in craft.
Yeah. And then moving out to LA, you started working with the Harvard and Stone folks.
I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I originally moved out here to consult on some programs or I was working with Proprietors LLC, kind of learned bar consulting via that because I was working on some programs with them. And then eventually made my way to running Harvard and Stone. And was there for a really long time. It was a very special, once again, special time, special place. It's like
that was what a special place.
Yeah. We were just there on Monday night. It felt like kissing an ex-girlfriend or like something like that.
Right.
Like I have not stepped inside of that place like since the pandemic.
That's really fun.
You know, and it was like, will I ever step back in there? You know, it was
We should go there.
Yeah, you guys should absolutely go there.
Put that on the list, please. We need to go.
Yeah.
I don't think you've been, Dad.
It's so special.
I have not been there.
It's so special, and honestly, like it really hasn't changed.
So the gala,
Cocktail.
what was the deal with the gala? What happened?
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very funny to be like black tie in Harvard and Stone. You
Right.
know, like there were a
'Cause
lot
it's
of
so not
of
that.
jokes. It was like, wait, we do cocaine here. Like, you know, like why are we, you know, but everybody looked super nice and it was just, it was so beautiful. But yeah, it was just cocktail destruction. You know, I mean, everybody was looking to support the
like a shit show.
But not
Is that what you
really.
mean? No.
I mean, for us behind the, honestly, it was like very well managed for, like how many people were there and how much they were drinking. Like the Harvard and Stone team did an absolutely incredible job, so did we. But no, I mean, we were raising money for the Emergency Bartenders Relief Fund.
Yeah.
And so the drinks were like really well priced, because all the tips were going towards the fund. So. Yeah, I think we did. I think we raised a lot of money. I don't know what the number is, but pretty sure.
So Yael, you were telling us that you started a coconut water company.
I wouldn't say I started the company.
Or you're involved. You're involved in the coconut water company.
So one of I mean, I don't even know how to describe them. I guess they would be called a client. That I have is an amazing company who kind of made a lot of my dreams come true for sure. Called Stranger Than. They found me a few years ago. The owner of this company, his name is Tal, and he was like, I need you to run these 3 music festivals for me. And at the time I was fully employed, full-time corporate job as like a corporate beverage director lead or like a creative beverage director lead. And I was like, I absolutely cannot do that for you, sir. And he like didn't really let me say no. And I didn't really want to say no because I'd spent quite a bit of time working with. Do you guys know the guys from Road Soda, like Ben Scora?
Oh
and
yeah,
YZ?
yeah, of course. You know Ben Scora and his.
That's like my favorite
trailer
team to work with. I love chaos. I love being outdoors. I love the heat. I love everything that has to do with the music festival. And so like one of my kind of earlier goals was like, gosh, how do I like be on the? I don't like to stay in one place. So I was like, oh, how do I be on the road? Like running music festivals for a living, and you know, as a beverage director, you know, working for Mark and Medford, I was with them for like 6 years. there was this dream, I felt like I was pursuing my dream of working with them, and by all means I was, but there was this other dream that was like, gosh, what if I did this thing instead? So yeah, that, he didn't let me say no, and I decided to do it. So I've been running productions for them, like Mayan Warrior and Circo Loco, and we just did the first US Boiler Room, for a few years now. And he's kind of always having ideas. And he was like, I really want to make a coconut water. And I was like, well, I have a guy. And yeah, we decided to make a natural one and a sparkling one. I really love sparkling water. And felt like there was a little bit of a gap there. And eventually would like to make some flavors I have in mind. But I find flavor science really fascinating, really interesting, especially like on a large scale. And the idea of product development, is very interesting to me. So yeah, I just had the right connections. Tal had the idea, and then, we crafted something that we decided was the most delicious thing out there. It was definitely intended to be used with like as a 1-in-1 mixer,
Right.
for the massive festivals. We do a lot of volume in New York as well. The mother company to Stranger Than is based in New York. It's called Tech Support. So we were looking, there's a little bit of citric acid in the sparkling coconut water so that you can make vodka sparkling coconut water and not need to add any fresh lime to it, because this is a music festival.
Yeah.
It's not mixology world.
Right.
We have a plastic cup,
Right.
So that's kind of the intention of it. And then, hopefully, in-room beverage for hotels and pool service and health food stores. There's a health food store just down the street called Body Energy Club. There's close friends of mine that are big supporters. So yeah.
Yeah. And then, so what's really interesting is that, so Carrie and the production team, they went to Tales of the Cocktail with us.
Okay.
This
Awesome.
past July, and the one before as
You
well.
make it out okay?
Yeah, they made it. Yeah, they were fine.
Unscathed, yes.
Yeah.
But it's
they
funny
did.
because the last 2 years, I don't know if you've been doing it longer, but you're incorporating your dance into the festivals themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
So, for instance, I don't know if the crew remembers at the was it at the Monkey Shoulder party
Yes,
where
yes.
you were twirling around?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And that's-
Oh, yes, I remember very well. Yeah.
I'm so happy to
okay.
hear that.
Yeah.
I did a performance with actually my aerial coach, Noelle. I'm super injured right now.
Oh, no.
I'm on the mend. That's a lie. I'm on the mend. Just had a very horrific personal loss
Oh.
that has kind of inhibited me from dancing in the moment. So I miss aerial very much. I have not trained in about 3 or 4 months, which is the longest I've ever gone, which is like terrifying. But yes, it's a treat and a pleasure to incorporate any level of artistry into this, space that feels like it's just fucking booze and drinks.
Right.
And I just think that there's so much more to it. And I'm very appreciative for the space from our colleagues to say, hey, we see this thing that you're doing and we want to incorporate it. So hopefully some cool stuff to come for 2024. If it's not me, it would be me hiring other people to perform.
Right.
Because I think one thing that I have learned over the past few years is like it is really difficult to produce and perform. I had six back-to-back double bookings this past weekend, and one of them I was entertaining the idea of entertaining, and I had to draw a line. It was just like, can't do this. And I also tend to like put a lot of stress and pressure on my team when I make decisions like that, which is never good. So
Yeah. Right.
you can be as organized as you want. Like, I got spreadsheets for days and load lists for days, and like I can have the A-ist list of team on there, but it's still you're compromising in some capacity. So
Right.
but yes, I think that the struggle mentally is what's most, you can be dancer brain and you can be producer brain, and it's really hard to be both. And I a lot of like my inspiration, as it pertains to that, comes from one of my directors. Her name is Olivia, and we produce with a collective called the House of Red Velvet, and she performs twice and the rest of us just have one set, and she directs and produces the whole thing. And I just gotta say I have so much respect for her, but that is a special type of. In her case, she's a Libra. You know, that is a special type of Libra right there. Yeah.
And what do you do? You know, since it takes such a toll mentally, what do you do to kind of decompress? Or if anything,
you know what's funny is actually I was asked this question last night by somebody very close to me, and he asked, I was like, oh, I'm feeling really low. And he was like, how do you recharge? And I said, well, you know, usually I recharge through connection. And he just started laughing. And he was like, we are the exact opposite. I get recharged through like meaningful connections with people, whether they are intimate ones or whether they are like inspiring ones or inspiring conversations. And then I also recharge like through physical pain or work, you know, like exercise or, you know, something like this.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, what do I don't even know what I do.
Like people are like, oh, Netflix or, you know,
or like
food, you know, meditation. I've never meditated. I will never be that girl. I'm not even going to try it. I cannot sit still. I'm not doing it. What do you,
Dad, what do you do to decompress?
What do I do?
Take a drink.
Take a drink.
Oh,
no, I said tiki drink.
No, tiki.
Tiki drink.
You watch golf.
No,
that's nice.
Well, I collect menus.
He collects menus. He's got a collection.
I've been doing
that's
this for
peaceful.
many years, and I collect old cocktail books. So I go back to my collections and look them over and read more books and explore.
Yeah.
So that's what I do to decompress.
What, Carrie?
What do you do?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. What do? I cuddle with the kids.
Yeah.
You know, like they help to recharge me for sure. Especially when I come home from a trip and they're just like, Daddy, you know, like hugging me, and they're just like little munchkins. And the dog, like pet therapy is like.
I know. My old roommates had the most incredible husky, and the new place where I live is like, it's beautiful. It's like a whole artist loft compound community, and it is like very strictly no pets. Not that I would go out and get a dog because I literally have no time, but that husky, oh man, like especially as I was going through this like most recent like really terrible loss, was just such like pet therapy, man. Like totally. I really that's a thing. That's a thing.
It really is.
You know?
Yeah, so being
something about this dog specifically too was she was just such a riot and like so cuddly, and like it really felt like there was a like very strange human inside, and I miss the dog so much. I'm actually gonna go over there and get some packages, so maybe I'll get to see the puppy.
Exactly. Yes, pet therapy is definitely. I mean, we just got a dog about a year and a half ago, and she is literally, her name is Luna. She's literally the kindest, sweetest, gentlest creature I have ever met.
Yeah.
She never barks. She's always so cuddly. She loves to play. She sleeps. I mean, she's just like the best. And then doing this podcast also.
Right.
Kind of true though, you know?
No,
because
I fully
I'm not
agree.
like, the event last night, I was carrying all these fucking boxes of booze, and I feel it today just from carrying 3 big boxes of liquor. Like I feel my neck and my shoulder, and I'm like, ugh. But I don't feel that when I do this.
Right.
No, but I mean, I mean, this is a form of talk therapy. You know, it's like when you ask me, do you want to come to a podcast? It's like, when am I gonna say no to a podcast? Like, it's really nice to just
sit
and talk.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, reflect and discover and explore and all these things. So, and also just from the historical standpoint of tracing our roots and our history and our paths. How the heck do we get here?
Yeah, you know? Origin stories. I love that. So. Well, we're glad to be your talk therapy for the day.
Thank you.
Because it is, it's great. Thanks. And Dad also has a very calming vibe to him.
Yeah, you really do.
Maybe outside on my exterior, I do. Inside, it's a little different. It's a little different.
Inside, he's blowing up.
Seething.
Not now. No.
I can very easily.
Okay.
Well, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Joining us.
Yes,
appreciate
absolutely.
it.
Nice to spend some time with you guys.
Cheers. Keep dancing.
Thank you.
Tipple Time is brought to you in part by Monin Gourmet Syrups, Lustau, and Glenmorangie.
Hey, Jonathan here again with another Tipple Time. We are once again here at the famous Tonga Hut in North Hollywood, California. I'm so excited because this is a real bar, and very rarely do I get to make drinks at a real life bar. So I'm going to make this stirred cocktail, which is kind of a variation on a Rob Roy, which is one of my favorite Scotch whiskey cocktails. And we're using one of my absolute favorite Scotch whiskeys, Glenmorangie, and we're going to use the 10-year-old. They have a wide variety of expressions, and this one is really delicious, really beautiful and gorgeous in cocktails. Cocktails that are shaken, cocktails that are stirred, refreshing, light, with ice, without ice, whatever you choose. I have my mixing glass over here. This is a really nice crystal mixing glass. It's called a Yarai. It's Japanese, and I actually got it on Cocktail Kingdom, and they are friends of the podcast as well, so we'll give them a little bit of a shout out. Of course, my jigger, I measure all of my ingredients to make sure everything is consistent and up to par. So let's go ahead and add 2 ounces of my Glenmorangie 10-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey. And this is our Lustau dry vermouth. It is a Spanish vermouth, a very traditional dry vermouth. We'll get 1 ounce of our dry vermouth. And to make our Rob Roy complete here, I'm adding just a little bit of this Monin macadamia nut liqueur. It's really nice and nutty, kind of like a orgeat in traditional cocktails, classic cocktails, but macadamia nut. And Monin makes these amazing syrups that are really all natural, and you can smell that. It smells really, really nice. Delicious, I'm sure, in coffee drinks, non-alcoholic and alcoholic, but also really delicious in a drink like this. Who would have thought to have a stirred cocktail with Monin macadamia nut? Me, folks. I've thought about it, and I'm making it for you so that you can make it at home. And that's about it. So we're going to add a little bit of ice, some Angostura bitters, which will add 3 dashes. There we go. Lovely. And now we will give this a stir. And when I stir my cocktails, I stir for twice the amount of time as when I shake. So I usually shake. In my brain, I keep track about 8 Mississippis. When I stir, I double it, so it's about 16 Mississippis. And that should be good. And of course, we have our trusty Hawthorne strainer. I love this glass from Tonga Hut. So beautiful. We'll add ice, and we'll strain from our mixing glass directly into our iced Tonga Hut old-fashioned glass. And nice large swath of orange peel. Just express over the top, rub it around the rim, drop it in. That is the Roy is Nuts, my variation on a Rob Roy cocktail. Oh, you get that delicious zest from the citrus right up off the top on the nose. I can't wait to taste it. Hold on. I did a little bit of that sound so that you can hear it at home, right? Oh, it's so good. Like the Glenmorangie single malt perfectly balances with the nutty notes. The bitters also kind of round everything out, and the citrus peel. Another episode, Tipple Time. Thanks again for watching, listening, the Cocktail Guru Podcast. I'll see you next time.
Tipple Time is brought to you in part by Lustau, Glenmorangie, and Monin Gourmet Syrups.
That does it for today's show.
If you enjoy what we do, please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast.
To watch or listen to today's episode, or to see the show notes, visit thecocktailgurupodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, or TikTok.
The Cocktail Guru Podcast is produced by First Reel Entertainment and can be seen on EatsDrinksTV.com, Spotify, and Zencaster, or heard on Apple, Google, Amazon, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. Travel arrangements provided in part by Zell Travel.